Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and excuse the grimy mat beneath, but this is the Mancala Knives Assault Team Model 1. There are 3 different variants of this particular design, and this is the one with the titanium frame lock. Now, I don't know the actual composition of the titanium. It's an alloy. I'm assuming this is a sub $50 titanium frame lock with 14C28N. If you couldn't tell based off of how small this steel stamp is right there, obviously a joke. This is a incredible value knife, but there are a couple little things that I personally would like to do to it. So today my goal is to do a flipper tab delete, adding a large sharpening choil, doing my typical acid stonewash on the edge, putting a very slicey, aggressive, fresh edge on there, and then doing a slight polishing and anodizing of the actual frame lock itself. So this is going to be my project for today. So yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully in a minute I'll have some stuff to share with you guys and see where we're at with the progress. All the hardware on here is steel. I'm probably gonna leave it as is, but if not, of course, I mean, you guys will see how this thing looks like in the end. The action on this isn't amazing by any means, but for the price that this is coming at, this is an incredible platform for somebody to work on practicing, whether it's sharpening or modifying by grinding away areas or, you know, things like that. This is a great platform for that, and it's very inexpensive. It has a lot of cool features that are typically on higher end knives. Like they have ceramic detent ball, ceramic H bearings. You can actually remove that, so it's an actual hardened steel insert, which is really cool. And everything's just well rounded, and it feels like a nice little knife to be able to work on. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be doing today. Alrighty, so flipper tab is finally removed. This took way too freaking long to get off, but of course I didn't have the proper tools. I just had a cheapy Dremel set, and what I did was I sanded it down, rounded it off as best as I could, widened the finger choil so that way the plunge is further back here, so that way that when I do my sharpenings, I can have a very consistent, clean looking edge, especially back over here. That's something that always bugs me. The manufacturers always end up missing. The purple stuff that you see in there and inside the detent hole and also the locking face is just standard nail polish, and I use that to as a barrier for the the ferrochloric acid, so when it eats away at the very surface of the metal, it won't damage those very important surfaces. And then with the titanium scales, what I did was, from the factory, they have a bead blast finish, which is really easy to work on. All I did was just take some really crumbled up wet sand. What did I use? I used some 2000 grit. This is the stuff that I use. So my method with this, to be able to, you know, get nice round corners and consistent finish overall in a shorter period of time, is I actually run this under some hot water, crumble it, open it multiple times to where I get this little cloth basically of sanding paper essentially, and I go over all the pieces. It's really easy, so I'm able to get a very consistent finish. That's just some moisture from my hands, but yeah, it looks pretty nice, pretty shiny. That's really what I expect from titanium. So again, I don't know the grade of titanium that Mancala is using for their particular model, but it seems to take a nice finish, and while I could leave it as is, I do want to anodize it. So this is ready to go. I'm going to set up my whole anodizing junk, and then we're gonna go ahead and get ready to dip. At this point, I will go and put some gloves on and, you know, things like that. All right, so everything is finally set up. The scales are freshly cleaned. They are just fully submerged in some water and borax, just out of habit. That's just something I do. I have my power supply set off over here off to the side. It is on, it's ready to go. Everything's hooked up. I got the negative lead attached to this piece of titanium that's sitting in the solution. It's just water, or I suppose distilled water, and a lot of borax. It is so heavily saturated in borax that I actually pulled out some large borax crystals. I'm a nerd, and when I was little I used to collect crystals and shit like that. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So these were actually formed over, you know, a long period of time, well, a relatively short, I suppose, period of time. But yeah, these are solid. Well, the large pieces, of course, are you know, actual pieces of crystal of just borax, which I think is pretty cool. These, of course, could be I guess, melted or dissolved in water, but I don't need them, so I'm just gonna trash them. So that's fun, little nerdy thing right there. So I got a little wire, titanium. Go ahead and hook it up. Doesn't really matter which end. I am at 80 volts right now, and it's supposed to be like a tealish blue. Who would have guessed? One of my favorite colors. So I'm just gonna fish one of these out. Try to get it through the pivot hole. Come on. Okay, we're on. And let me see if I can center the actual thing over here so you guys can see when I dip it some of the color change. It's a relatively quick process that takes place. Oh yeah, that's cool, that's cool. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I don't know what grade of titanium they're using, but I mean, it's showing all the colors as it's, you know, getting up to, you know, to the power range that I set it at. It's a really bright purple that it's hanging out at right now. Looks like it's settling out. Going to the blues. If it's purple, I mean, I don't have a purple knife. I think I might just leave it that way. I think that'd be pretty cool. It's getting a little bit darker. It might be like a high voltage, like Blurple, possibly. Because there's low voltage and there's high voltage. It's just with the low voltage Blurple, at least from my experience, it's more blue than it is purple. And then high voltage Blurple is more purple than it is blue. So it has a blue sheen over what is, you know, mainly a purple surface. So I don't mind it. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks like it's done now. So let's go ahead and pull that out. Hey, that looks pretty cool. Of course, as it dries, it's going to have a slightly different color, but that looks nice. I like that. Let's go ahead and fish that other piece out real quick. Because of the setup that I have, it's very crude, and I don't have like a whole lot of space really. So I just do one piece at a time. I have had success with, you know, dipping two pieces at a time. But for what I have set up right now, this is really what I got to deal with. So it's not too bad. I'm not really complaining. So while that's cooking, let's check out this piece. Oh, it's beautiful. Hell yeah, that is awesome. Hope that, see this corner right here? I don't know if that's how it is, or maybe I need to resand it. I'm not too sure. I want to do the least amount of redos as possible. So when I've done anodization projects in the past, kid you not, I have to like redo everything over like 2-3 times, and it's really annoying. But it's still fun. It's an experience. I do definitely enjoy it. Well, this piece looks like it's done cooking. Yeah, it's done. Okay. let me shut everything off so I don't electrocute myself or blow myself up on camera. Disconnect everything, get these juices out of the way. Okay, take my stupid gloves off now. Let's check these pieces out. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. This little spot up here, it almost looks like I didn't sand it enough. If you could see, it looks like a slightly different finish. I don't really think I minded too much. You could see areas like here, it's a little bit more purple. Over here where there's lots of pocketing and milling, it's kind of the same finish, but overall, that's pretty cool. I think this is gonna be a pretty neat looking knife, especially after I do the stonewash acid finish on the blade. But yeah, I mean, this is definite proof that Monocolor Knives is using real titanium, and it's good titanium actually. So I was expecting at that voltage to get something a little bit more teal, but it would, with whatever grade this is, it would probably be maybe like 90, 95, but I don't want to re-dip. In the future, if I ever want to, I'm sure this would be very easy to redo. So now I'm gonna do the finish on the blade. At this point, I'm pretty sure all the nail polish is dried up. I can go ahead and throw it into my little bucket with the media in it to go and, well, no, first acid and then into the little tumbling media bucket. And then for disassembly, and I'm probably gonna leave the hardware as is. I think bronze and the purple would be pretty cool if I did some like heat anodization on the steel hardware, but yeah, I'm a little lazy today. So that's where we're at right now. Be right back. All right, so I was going to do a whole reassembly, but I ran into a couple little issues with tuning the frame back into place to where it's not going to absolutely obliterate my thumb when I go to deploy, because now the studs are the only deployment method. This thing came out freaking sick. Check this out. This looks like now a multi-$100 custom made knife. Of course it's not. It just, you know, took majority of my freaking day. If I had the skills and proper tools, I probably would have been able to knock it out within like, I don't know, maybe an hour. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this thing came out. So the pivot's closed, the stud is closed. When you buy a Monocolor knife, they're actually flipped around. It does have a D-shaped pivot, which is awesome at this price point. A crap ton of T6s. I mean, they're good hardware, but I still hate T6s. The pocket clip was a little finicky, but thankfully I didn't strip anything, and of course there's 3 little standoffs, just tedious crap. The hardened steel insert does have an over travel stop. So, but check that out. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, but I think this looks freaking sick. I know the flashy pop of color, you know, isn't really a lot of people's thing, but it's definitely my thing. I do enjoy this quite a bit. I feel like this was a very successful build. I got a good scratch pattern on that blade, deep acid wash on it. Put a beautiful 18-degree edge on here. Reprofiling this thing from the factory edge was a freaking nightmare. It was super thick up here, really thin down here, so it took a lot of back and forth on either side trying to, no, I'm fine. Just trying to even it out to not make the actual, you know, bevel itself look so, you know, crazy. But I think I got it pretty darn good. You can see the lockup right there, nice and solid. This does have the tiniest bit of up and down. If you really muscle it, I did have the carbon fiber version. I did gift it to my father-in-law. That one also had a tiny bit of up and down. But, so it seems like it's pretty consistent in that sense, I guess. Flipper tab delete, medium-sized finger choil. I could have widened that up a little bit more if I really wanted to spend more time on it, but I think it looks just fine. And honestly, I'm really only like one knuckling, and with the jimping there on the spine of the blade, that's a really sweet spot to be in. This is great. I got some printer paper here just to show nice, beautiful finished edge. Excellent, nice and clean. But yeah, that is it. Check that out. Hopefully it's coming through over the camera. You could actually still see the Monocolla laser engraved right there. It's not too... It's more noticeable in person than it is to the camera. You can barely make it out. And then the ultra obnoxious blade steel stamp that was literally like taking up majority of the blade on this side is right there. You could barely see it. Majority of it has actually been washed away by the acid, so I'm cool with that. This really does now look like a heavily custom made knife, which is absolutely awesome. I wouldn't have really changed anything at this point. The bearing situation, I mean, as they come from the factory, they're okay. It could be a whole lot better. I'm thinking about getting some Skiffs. If Skiff makes ones in this size, they're really tiny bearings, very thin. But yeah, I think this was a successful build. Let me know what you guys think about this piece down in the comments. I will be linking down what I can in the description. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.